All right, I'm gonna pause this for a second and then refresh. I'll see if I can get a better speed. Let's do that.
Beautiful girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. So, we're talking about I know Herbert Wigwe again. This time around, we're talking about Herbert Wigwe's source of wealth, the illusion of honest wealth beyond the Igbos. So what I saw earlier on today is that I noticed that Igbos, the word Igbos was trending on the internet. And somebody left a comment here as well. And it's just kind of like, I think I mentioned it very briefly yesterday that tribalistic people, is that the right word to say, people that have a tendency to engage in tribalism, if they look around them, they can always find a good excuse to engage in this bad behavior. All right. And I think to a large extent it's also instilled in the people just have a tendency, So Igbos was trending in Nigeria. I can even see a comment here right now. Let me even play this video. Okay, how about we play this video from Very Dark Man, and then we'll take it from there. Let me play this video. Actually, let's play this video from Very Dark Man.
Say me, I delight talk my own the way he beat me for body. Yesterday, while all those protests was going on, Charlie Boy tweeted this: as Nigeria is boiling with hardship, with protests here and there, don't ever join the protest, especially if you are an obedient Nigerian. Most especially if you are from Southeast. Let those Imo, Lokun, and Agbadorians protest their stupidity. Obedience will always find their way. Now, before you receive this advice from Charlie Boy, I want you to understand something. Charlie Boy is over 70-something years old. Ask yourself a question: what was Charlie Boy doing in his youthful days in this country? Charlie Boy was snapping naked pictures with men and women and all that, drawing tattoo up and down, going everywhere with power bike. You understand? He was so disobedient to his own father that they even disowned him.
Jesus.
Do you get the point? So Charlie Boy has lived his own lifetime to a particular level, flexing his life. Now he's at his old age. He feels it is the right time to come and tell you people what to do. And people are listening to him. Charlie Boy don't enjoy his own life. Charlie Boy has enjoyed his own youthful age. He did not do anything with it. Because if this ginger Charlie Boy has now, he was using it since, we for no day where we did. You understand? At least we for no day where he did. So Charlie Boy coming out to come and talk, he's just surprised. And some people are listening to him. Then again, I saw this type of videos.
So this man called me that I should come and drink. Yeah. They are flexing. They said they love Tinubu's government, and they say no Igbo man should join any protest.
I saw a lot of videos like this. Some Igbo people, here we are protesting, they'll be drinking beer. You understand? Now, you see all these things, you would think it's cruise. Nigeria is our own. You understand? Nigeria is our own. Now, all of you are saying it is the Yorubas that should protest because they did not let Peter Obi win. It shows how tribalistic you people also are. You understand? Now, let's go back to the time during Peter Obi protest. Go and check out the people that championed the protest. During Peter Obi campaign, go and check out the people that championed it. Mr. Macaroni, Faust, and some other people like that, which are mainly Yorubas, to the point that their own people were calling them bastards. Do you understand?
All right, let me play this other video here. This is really sad what's going on. This video has been going viral since yesterday.
And they say no,
let's see.
So this man called me that I should come and drink. Yeah. They are flexing. They said they love Tinubu's government, and they say no Igbo man should join any protest.
Yes, sir.
It's very bad time. Yes. If you want to before and you refuse to leave,
all right. So this is, as you can see, This is when I say Nigeria has not hit rock bottom, and I say, hey, let me be sensitive yesterday on yesterday's show. This is what puts me on the fence. I look at things like this, I'm like, wow, it's crazy how people think, right? There's this tweet here says Igbos finally pledged support for Tinubu's presidency, vows to not join any protest against presidency, the most patriotic Nigerians. All right, so they were being sarcastic, right? So again, sarcasm, condescension, when you're talking about real issues, sure, there's no crime in that, but it's just an indication of the fact that people are not ready for change. They're not ready for change. The reality of what you're looking at right now is that if it was Peter Obi that was there, they will be dragging him just in a different direction, but it will be the same dragging, because temporarily the economy is going to do what it's going to do, meaning you can't fix fundamental problems overnight. The only thing you can do with that situation is, if it was an OB, it will be a representation. It will inspire. It will be inspiring, But there's only so far that can go if you're not really bringing any kind of value to the table as a nation, As a matter of fact, let me play this video from Daddy Freeze talking about if it was Peter Obi or Showore, which I don't think that's a possibility, but we never say never, right? It's not probable. There's no probability, okay? But anything is possible, I guess. Let me play this video and then we'll take it from there.
The government, I supported Omoyele Showore, and I know a lot of youth supported Peter Obi. They probably will have had to do the same exact things that this government is doing. The only difference is they will have served as the anesthesia while this economic surgery is going on.
So what he meant by that is something that I mentioned yesterday, which is they would have been inspiring it to instill a level of confidence to a large extent, not just to a little extent. If Nigeria can have courage enough to vote for new faces, people that represent a complete change, not basically rehashing the same thing, a lot of people will be inspired by that. That will bring confidence to the marketplace. That will bring confidence for investors who might want to come back home and reinvest back, or confidence that just want to come into Africa, period, right? It will represent a lot, and that is a big deal because the market is also controlled by emotions. Yes, greed, or you can call it confidence in this respect, and fear, and when people have fear, they are afraid. They don't know who's going to burn up a house or what security issues they're going to have if they start a factory or things like that. Then that will affect the money in your pocket and the value of the money in your pocket as well. So I say, you can see that the title does say about Wigwe's source of wealth. Why are we talking about that? I'll tell you why we're talking about that. Let me do this really quickly. Let me read a comment from somebody that came in. Okay, somebody said, aside, this is a comment that was left on our pages here. The person said, aside from the Igbos, such as Herbert Wigwe, I put that one in there, but that's the topic we're talking about. How many so-called billionaires in Nigeria made their money without stealing from Nigeria? Please educate us on that value. Okay, this is an additional comment from somebody else. Please educate us on that value-adding system that takes from the poor only for the rich to gain more control of the nation's wealth. Okay, there's a lot of things wrong with this statement, or dual statement, if you will. All right, there's a lot of things wrong with it. Let me see if I can post the whole thing. I'm not sure if it can fit, so you guys can read what we're talking about. And and again, it's not a matter of right and wrong, as I've always said. Okay, that's not what this is about. It's not a matter of right and wrong. Okay, because honestly, I do think that you have, for the most part, you have best interest of the nation at heart. You're just trying to come up with your own ideologies. You're trying to process it, and you might be, you're just saying what you feel, and that's okay. That's fine. There's no crime in that. So you're right.
Well, you're right.
Well, of course, except the tribalistic part of the statement, aside from Igbos, if you're going to, okay, so let me slow down. Okay, not tribalistic, generalization over simplification that I've always pushed against on this platform. You cannot generalize that all Igbos are the one who are becoming billionaires without stealing from Nigeria. It depends on what you mean by stealing too. What do you mean by stealing? Right? What do you mean by stealing? Okay. Aside from the Igbos, that's a tribalistic phrase. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. If I ask you for data and show me some, I bet you don't have anything to show us outside of the ones that are popular. And of course, many of us did not even know about Wigwe until the crash, sadly, So just like we didn't know about Wigwe, there are also many billionaires that cut across Nigeria in all these different tribes that you've never heard of them before, but they're also doing well in their own right. Now, the second part of this, which is how many so-called billionaires in Nigeria made their money without stealing from Nigeria. It depends on what you mean by stealing. If Wigwe was your son, or a son of your family, or your uncle, or somebody who came from your family, would you be using that same language? I bet not. As a matter of fact, if he has an opportunity and doesn't take advantage of it, which may include, quote unquote, on paper, bribing, quote unquote, taking advantage of certain policies, maybe some opportunities that Obasanjo opened up. A lot of people accuse Dangote of the same thing, that he took advantage of some policies that, some opportunities that were opened up for them during the Obasanjo days. If they don't take advantage of that opportunity, would you not curse them? Yeah, you would curse them. You would literally curse them out and say maybe want to follow back or Lati village. You would say that. So what do you mean by stealing? Okay, what do you mean by stealing? That's the question that I have for you. Oh my God, it's all type of madness going on here. Anyway, thank God for the microphone. I know you guys can hear me clearly. Anyway, so many billionaires and they made their money without stealing. So how many so-called billionaires? The reality is that all the money you spend in that marketplace, all the money that sips into the public scenes, all the money that ends up in the hands of a tailor, a organizer, a gate man, a housemaid, if you want to go by your logic of stolen money, they're all stolen money. Nigeria does not produce anything. You're not listening. Nigeria does not produce anything. The money that's circulating are all stolen money. Okay, go and ask very well. That anti-reception that sit by the desk that will not bring out the files unless you shock them with something. Right? Should we talk about the policemen on the streets that are just trying to get back home and have a little something to feed their innocent children? Like, how far do you want to go with you defining stealing from Nigeria? What do you mean by stealing from Nigeria? Yeah, but Ola, let's stop the cap. Let me help you. Let's stop the cap, right?
Stop the cap.
We're not talking about stealing like big guys like the Elumelus and the Wigwe. It's completely different. Sure, you're right, but that's not the reality. The reality is that it's all twisted, okay, in different ways. Excuse me if my internet is acting up right now. I can see the signal when it's acting up. All right. The reality is that when you have a society, when there's negatives going on, like the one that you guys have been talking about, that I'm also acknowledging, right? The reality is that it's only possible when the general public enables it. It's okay, yeah, that doesn't mean that they're guilty. It doesn't mean we're blaming the public. No, that's not what that means. What I'm trying to get you to see is I want you to see beyond the victim thing, that people are victims. Okay, the reality is that the children, if you don't get this right, the children that will come 20 years from now are the victim, are the actual victims. Just like in a relationship, just in a marriage. And playing the victim is not going to be, ignorance is not an excuse. I'm telling you right now that it's beyond persons stealing money. It's a systemic failure across the board. Okay? When you don't have anything else to say, then you start going in the direction of tribalistic commentaries like the one that you're looking at on the straight here, on this skinny here. But let me address the second part of it here, right? Somebody said, please educate us on that value hiding system that takes from the poor only for the rich to gain more control of the nation's wealth. I mean, just look at the statement. The statement is contradictory. Okay? The statement is contradictory. If they were truly the poor, that means they have nothing. What exactly are we stealing from the poor? I mean, what exactly are they stealing from the poor? The only thing you can talk about is public funds. And unfortunately, public funds is not what makes a nation thrive. What makes a nation thrive is producing more than they consume, selling more than they consume, and selling more to the rest of the world than they consume in a competitive world. That's what makes a nation wealthy. A nation wealth that is public funds is not wealth. This is a mindset issue. We need to get it right. I'm trying my best, okay? Nation wealth. Oh, now I see. Sorry about that. The noise was coming from right behind me. It was the stupid AC. Nation wealth that is purely public funds, which is what you're talking about, which is stolen by, it's not wealth, okay? It's basically it's to dry run, or you continue to acquire more and more debt. So that's that. So there's no such thing as nation wealth in that. And then when you say take from the poor, how can you take from the poor? I mean, look at it holistically, okay? From your standpoint, I get what you're saying. On the surface are regular talking points, which is these people, they are stealing from the have-nots. I get it. But just think about that second. I want you to connect that with the victim mindset. All right? I really want you to really think about it squarely and take your time. Don't react with your emotions. Think about it a little bit more. If we're stealing from the poor, exactly what are we stealing from the poor? Are you talking about public funds? Because that is not nation wealth. That there's no wealth in that. It's just a bunch of base. It's debt. It's national debt. Right? Now, what the poor has is what they don't necessarily realize. It's not the money. Okay? What they don't have is the will to fight, because they're not ready. They're not there yet. That's what the poor don't have. And that's something we need to pay attention to. Okay? Let me see if I can capture a very good part of what Dr. Sam was talking about here. All right, I'm right on the money right here. This is a session that Dr. Sam did earlier on today. I'm going to play it, and I want you to really think hard about this. Can you really place, as a nation, as a group, right? Can we place ourselves in this box that he's talking about, at the same time try to hold, quote unquote, the thieves accountable? Right, spending all our resources holding thieves accountable. I'm always for holding thieves accountable, but in terms of just playing the blame game, can you see yourself thriving as a nation and doing that at the same time? It's a question for you. Let me play it for you.
Remember, first, we can't afford to see ourselves as victims. All you will see is negativity. All you'll be doing is complaining and lamenting. Once you see yourself as a victim, you are not anybody's victim in this world. You are too powerful for that. And secondly, a problem solver, and you need to make sure you create time to free your imagination to create solutions for people.
Go and watch it. It's called Start and Grow Your Business. I haven't tried. I just kind of stumbled into it during the day, and I just thought it was a powerful message that it was talking about there, So Wigwe, Elumelu, and all those guys, there's no question that they benefited greatly. If you can break yourself loose from the shackles of playing the victim, somebody's going to be calling you a Wigwe, Elumelu at some point in the future, because you didn't sit down there complaining, playing the victim. You took, and then you become a quote unquote philanthropist, right? And then you move faster. So the idea that somebody is taking from the poor and for the rich and gain more control of the nation's wealth, the nation is in debt. I don't know if you're paying attention that there's no wealth. Okay, that's because the people are poor in the mind, and your president is trying to help, but he's not capable at this point, at least.
Let's be poor, breathe.
Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Let's continue the conversation, because again, people do this in relationship as well. They play the victim. A lot of time they are the victims, but a whole lot of time they perpetuate it by continuing to complain and just dwell in the funk. And hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications, and let's talk some more about this. I'll be back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.